guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to make some of the Korean cheese dogs. These look so good. I see them on videos all the time and they always make my mouth water. And I got this recipe from Mangchi. She's a Korean cook and she has a YouTube channel and I'll link it below. But first we're going to start out and we're going to make our batter. And you're going to take 2 cups of lukewarm water. Make sure that you don't get the water too hot because it will kill your yeast. So I don't know what temperature that is, but you know, just not too hot, but still nice and warm, okay? And then to that, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of sugar, just the regular white sugar, and get that dissolved really good. And then to that, we are going to add 2 packs of dry active yeast. And I am doubling this recipe because I'm making at least 8 of these cheese and corn dogs. So I just wanted to make sure that I had enough batter to cover everything. So you just want to add that in and make sure that you stir that up for a good minute or 2 and get the yeast really dissolved. Once that's dissolved, we want to add 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder and just get that stirred up really, really well. And make sure you try to get any clumps out of your flour. And then to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And once you get that nice and combined, we're going to add that to our dissolved yeast mixture. I bought this little rice paddle from the Asian store, which works so good for stirring things. And I bought it for my Ninja Foodie for my rice. But just make sure that you get that stirred really, really well. Try to smash out any clumps you may have in there. And then we're going to set this aside, cover it with saran wrap, and let this sit for 1 hour. So the flour can get really bubbly and rise and it's really gooey. So I double covered mine with saran wrap. And just set that aside. And like I said, we're going to let that rise for 1 hour. And then you're going to take a large baking potato and we're going to slice that into really, really fine little cubes. Because we're going to also take some of our corn dogs and we're going to roll this in the potatoes. So you want to take the potatoes and drop those in boiling water and blanch those for about 2 minutes. And then just lay them on a paper towel and kind of, that way you can absorb any of the extra water that's in those. And just cover it, put a towel over the top as well. Then I have a block of mozzarella cheese. And I decided to use mozzarella in these. I see some people use string cheese, but I just wanted to use the real thing so they would just be even cheesier. So just separate that into nice kind of large chunks, you want your cheese dog to be cheesy, right? So I think I got about 7 or 8 pieces out of this big block of cheese. And then instead of using hot dogs, I used the beef bratwurst, just because I thought that would give those a little more flavor. And so you just want to take those out of the pack, however many you want to use, and wrap those up in paper towels and just get any extra moisture off of those and get them just, so your dough and everything is sticking good to the hot dogs. So then I put the potatoes in a bowl and we're going to put 1 tablespoon of the all-purpose flour in those and just stir that up really good. And that'll help absorb any extra moisture and help the potatoes stick to the batter. And then when I was at the Asian store, instead of using those little skinny skewers you can buy at the grocery store, I bought one of these packs of chopsticks. And this was $2.50 for all of these chopsticks. I have no idea how many was in there, but they just help you. They're harder and they help you, skewer the cheese better, and they're just easier to pick up. And just, easier to handle when you're trying to eat the corn dogs. So I would highly suggest finding some of those. So I just took the bratwurst and the cheese. I cut some in half. You see, I put hot dogs on one half and cheese on the other half of a few of them. And then you just want to take your potatoes that have cooled, that you've put the flour on, spread those out. And I'm using panko breadcrumbs. And I used 1 cup here, but I will put 2 cups in the description box for the recipe because I ended up using at least another cup to roll all of these in because I had quite a bit, and those panko breadcrumbs, they will stick to that batter and you will definitely need more than 1 cup. So our dough mixture is finally done and it got nice and puffy and it's really frothy and bubbly, okay? And this is like a foolproof dough method for this, okay? Just as long as you don't get your water too hot for your yeast. So then you just want to take your cheese or your hot dog and you just want to kind of roll it around in the dough mixture. You see how stretchy and smooth that is? So just roll it around and make sure you get it covered really good. And you can use your fingers for this and just kind of squish it around and make sure that you get dough all the way around the bottom and all the way around the top. So when you start frying these, your cheese is not bubbling out of your corn dog. So the next thing you want to do is take your corn dog wrapped in the batter and you want to roll it around in your diced blanche potatoes. And I didn't do this on all of my corn dogs. I just did it on a few of them because it gives it like a nice crunchy French fry on the outside of it. And then just roll those in the panko and make sure that you get all like the nooks and the crannies filled on the corn dog with the panko. So just make sure you just kind of dip those all around and make sure they're completely covered. Because you want, when you fry them, you don't want to have big bulges of batter. You want to have it just like a smooth, pretty corn dog. And the batter just goes on those so easy. You see how it's just so stretchy, and when you get like a clump of it, you just take your fingers and just smooth it out and, make sure that it's just nice and the batter's really even. I probably put a little bit extra batter on mine than most people might because I just wanted to make sure that they were nice and fluffy. So now it's time to finally fry our corn dogs. And you want to use a pan big enough that will fit your corn dog and the stick in the pan so it can lay flat. And you want to have this oil on about 320, 330 degrees. I wish I had had my deep fryer because this would have been so much easier. But we're just going old school and we're going to put them in this frying pan. So just cook them till they get nice and brown on one side, and then just keep checking them. You don't want them to get too dark because the batter will get done. So you can actually just take your tongs. I didn't pay attention to how long I cooked these on each side, but you can take the tongs and just kind of tap those on the outside of the corn dog because they get very crunchy, and that way you'll be able to tell that they're done all the way through. So our corn dogs, oh my gosh, they are done. My first one's got a little browner than the rest of them, but they look so good and I can't wait to eat these. But then you can't see it in the frame, but I took just white regular granulated sugar and just sprinkled that on the outside of all the corn dogs. My daughter, she said she would prefer not having sugar because the batter already had sugar in it. But this is just the recipe and this is how they make them. So we have our sugar. Oh, y'all, don't they look juicy and delicious? Oh, look at those with the potatoes on them. Those were so good. It's just like a nice crunchy French fry. And I had bought a bottle of spicy ketchup and put it in these squirt tubes, and I put Sriracha in there as well with the ketchup. And this bottle here is just a bottle of honey mustard salad dressing. And then you just want to take that and just drizzle that across your corn dog. And you can use regular mustard or whatever you want to use. That's just what I see most people using on these, and so that's what I wanted to try. So I had my daughter over there, and she was like just dying waiting on these. So I cracked one of them open, and y'all, these are so cheesy and so delicious. You would love these, and you will want to make more than a few. So you want to use the recipe that I did because your family and your kids will absolutely love these. I don't know how to explain the honey mustard, the spicy ketchup, the gooey cheese. They are absolutely divine. But I hope you guys can make these. I think you would absolutely love them, and your family, your friends. If you want to sit down and do a little mukbang video with these, this recipe is very simple, and I think anyone that makes this would find them very, very easy. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, something different, something fun. And leave me a comment, and I will see you guys on my next video. Love you guys. Bye.